Pro Wrestling Podcast. And here's my favorite show. I'm not finished with you!
That's right.
Man, Bubba!
Hey, that's funny. You think that's funny? It's not.
Hey.
What? No, yes.
Yes, this is the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about the best pro wrestling in the world. I'm Tommy Stryker, host of the show. Joining me, as always, is Taco.
What up?
And Joe is here as well.
We're mad right now.
Yeah, fuck TJ Perkins' new shirt.
All right, before we get into all of that, let's introduce the show properly. We've got a lot of new listeners. We're coming out of WrestleMania season. Last week we had a record all-time downloads that we'll get into. And
a T-shirt's pissing us off.
So if you're new to the show, thank you for checking out the show. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Check us out on Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, wherever you get your podcasts. And,
5 stars. 5 stars, people.
And thanks for checking us out. We do talk about the best pro wrestling in the world, but this week it's a special week because this incarnation of the podcast turns 1 year old this week. So we are celebrating with we got a 12-pack of beer in the studio. We're hanging out and enjoying 205 Live. This show is recorded every week on Tuesday, immediately after SmackDown, while 205 Live is on. So occasionally during the show, we will reference something that's going on 205 Live, kind of randomly throughout the show.
Or randomly scream, or...
As we, right, we do the Tozawa screams or whatever. But we got a lot to talk about with the Superstar Shakeup, Raw and SmackDown, NXT. And as many of you know, I just recently started a new show for the Fans Podcast called Strong Honor, where I talk about, exclusively, we talk about Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this week, instead of talking a little bit about New Japan and Ring of Honor on this show, I want to shift all of that talk over to Strong Honor, and all three of us will do both shows. So
yeah, three-way dance.
So now everybody that's into this show can check out Strong Honor and maybe some of the other great shows on the Fans Podcast. But it'll separate it up too, because there might be people that are just into the WWE stuff, not really interested in the Ring of Honor and NXT or New Japan stuff. But there's a ton of New Japan and Ring of Honor stuff to talk about. Sakura Genesis happened over the weekend, big match between Shibata versus Okada for the IWGP Championship. So look for that in Strong Honor. But
don't fucking touch me, Joe.
For now, let's talk Superstar Shakeup. Normally, we might start off with a little bit of news, but it was kind of a slow news week. I think one of the bigger stories was probably the Vaudevillain getting his release.
Simon Gotch.
JBL and Morrow's thing is exploding. It's all over Yahoo. ESPN's picking it up.
I didn't mean to hit that.
Fine.
No,
you too, buddy.
Typically, that one might mean we need to get back to the task at hand, the subject at hand. But
Pro Wrestling News.
You're right.
We have quite a bit of news for you.
News. You're right though. The Morrow stuff. We talked about it a little bit last week, but it has blown up a lot, and I feel like we should talk about it again because it's sad and it's screwed up and it's fucked up. You know, they switched Byron Saxton and fucking Otunga on the commentary teams. So still no Morrow. People holding up signs in the audience saying "We love you, Morrow." He's getting all the love on Twitter. He's back on Twitter, by the way. Deleted all of his associations with WWE from his Twitter profile.
We even tweeted right before SmackDown too, still watch the show, everyone. Respect all these guys are, going out there putting their bodies online. No one tunes in to Raw or SmackDown for an announcer.
Always classy Morrow.
Yeah, that's the thing. And, great for, I almost said great for Morrow, though this is awful for Morrow. This was Morrow's dream job. And the fact that a guy like JBL, who's a bully, can bully a guy basically out of the company, that's awful. That sucks, and that's stupid. And
it's the same reason why they fired fucking DeMont or
Bill DeMott.
Yeah,
for unpopular. Yeah, and just being a bully. Yeah,
and there was no really hard proof of it.
Yeah. Well, I liked how you brought up when we talked about this last week, the idea of Morrow maybe going to Raw, Michael Cole having a reduced role. Doesn't look like we're getting that. It looks like, honestly, Morrow's just going to be done. So
that's a lot of
just
WWE
disappointing.
sources are keep pointing out too. We have him until August 12th of 2017. So
that's when his contract is up.
That's when they have him through. So who knows? We can only hope that relationships can get better by the end.
I hope so.
Look how JBL was acting on SmackDown. Fucking Saxton. Fucking pretty much was. Spoiler alert, New Day's going to SmackDown. He was geeking the fuck out, and JBL's reaction was like, "You're a weirdo." And it's like, what? Continue, JBL. We're expecting like some heat from you right now, so he's on his best behavior.
Well, and how about JBL coming his excuse on Twitter or whatever? I don't remember where he said it, but I heard a report about it that he was saying, "Well, I'm a heel and and I'm supposed to act like this on the air," but it's not the on-air stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shit that goes on behind the scenes that's a problem. And then he goes on to say, "Well, I'm a heel and that's just the role that I play, and I'm not gonna address internet rumors." And then he talks about how another big tie-in from all of this is Justin Roberts' book just came out, and there's a lot of shit on JBL in that book about JBL being a bully. So all of this stuff kind of is coming together at the same time. And so as JBL is addressing but not really addressing the situation, then he goes off on Justin Roberts. And it's like, nobody liked Justin Roberts anyway. He was never popular in the locker room. Everybody hated him. So, well, he's trying to not defend himself not being a bully. He then goes and bullies Justin Roberts.
Confirms everyone's theories.
Exactly. And look, this has gone on for 20 years. I mean, Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer, he wasn't going to go there because he likes to approach this stuff with journalistic integrity. And then he looked at the track record, with the Justin Roberts book and all the other accounts of people saying that this stuff has been going on. This has been going on for 20 years. And to be honest, the thing is, JBL gets a lot of the blame for it, but that's the culture in WWE. It starts at the top with Vince McMahon. He likes seeing people get shoved into swimming pools.
Right.
That's the culture in WWE. So this isn't.
It's just the entertainment culture. It's sink or swim. Survival of the fittest. I kind of agree with that mentality of kind of be hard on each other. Bust each other's balls a little bit, but at the same time, you got to know when a guy has a mental disorder too, and you can't take that to your advantage.
And here's the other thing too, is that Morrow could have been a little bit smarter about it too, and instead of this is again only in the WWE would this happen, where you get an award from the Wrestling Observer, and he was happy about it and expressed that on Twitter and elsewhere, and of course the WWE bullies him for that and gives him a hard time for that. Where that wouldn't happen anywhere. TNA, go ahead, brag about an award. Anywhere else in the world, New Japan, they talk about the 6-star rating all the time.
Right.
So anywhere else in the world it'd be fine, but at WWE they've got this thing. Well, you don't be a mark for yourself. Oh, don't be a mark.
Yeah.
And Mauro Ranallo, he is an unabashed mark for the business, loves wrestling, and the fact that he gets bullied for it is obnoxious and stupid. It's 2017. Let a guy be a fan and let him bring his passion to the product.
Right.
I mean, that you're not going to get that from Tom Phillips. I'm sorry, Tom Phillips is good. He's fine. He's good at what he does.
He's not Otunga.
And he's definitely no Mauro Ranallo. So, Other than that, I don't think there's much news stuff to get into. Nothing that we probably won't cover going through Raw and SmackDown and NXT and the Superstar shakeup. So, let's get right into some Monday Night Raw.
Did you just shake your dick around, Joe?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
Hit the wrong one.
Monday Night Raw!
Now, before specifically getting into Raw, I've got my notes here on the Superstar shakeup itself. And let's see, I just want to count to see. So we had the 2 announcers. That was a wash. That was 1 for 1. But then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Raw. I'm going to turn that down. Why do I keep hitting the news button, the news sounder?
We just said there's no news
today.
I know, right? Keep going. So how many did I just say? I just counted out 10. Okay, of course.
10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for SmackDown. Now I looped in Lana with Rusev, and I also Maurice is with Miz, Rhino is with Slater, Primo is with Epico. So the tag teams and the couples I kind of kept together here.
Well, I think what I was reading beforehand was like before SmackDown went on air, Raw had like 72 superstars, and SmackDown I think was just touching 30.
It was funny. Well, and it was funny too as I was watching Raw, and like it felt like half the SmackDown roster came over to
so
Raw.
bare.
It was like, wow, it's like, what is left for SmackDown? And then we look at what SmackDown got. Yeah, they got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, Jinder, Primo and Epico, Charlotte's cool, but Tamina was, I don't know, does that even count? Was Tamina anywhere before? Was she drafted anywhere? Was she part
she's
of?
Been injured. I mean, it's awesome. She's back.
No,
you know,
that's
some
dynamic,
but
no, that's cool. But was she actually part of Raw
exactly.
before? Was this an actual acquisition, or was this just her returning from injury? Sin Cara, which who knows where he was? Haven't seen him in a long time either.
Well, he was part of the 205 last week. He was really on
was
TV.
He really?
Yeah, he was. He said he was entering himself in the 205 in the cruiserweight division. So it's like, so now we can just kind of let him in and out whenever the fuck he wants to. Like,
maybe they're getting cruiserweights on SmackDown now, so that's weird. And then Kalisto going to Raw, he would have made more sense. Well, I suppose now that he's on Raw,
he can wrestle in the
Sin Cara even tweeted out when that happened. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna see, shake up the tag division again," and then he gets transferred to SmackDown. So it's like, what the fuck you doing with these guys? Like,
So I guess the Tamina thing, going back to that, kind of compares to the Drifter showing up on Raw.
I was going to say that, yeah.
So that, because the Drifter was not technically part of SmackDown.
I was so hoping he was just going to drift around SmackDown.
Yeah, the shot
maybe drift around NXT still.
I loved the GIF that you brought up as we were watching stuff earlier today, and I saw it on Twitter too, of the Drifter just wandering through the crowd during the women's match, just drifting around the arena. So, but you brought up as you were watching, maybe it was you, that you didn't like that Corey Graves wasn't upset enough.
I don't think he reacted hard enough. I mean, maybe they build it up and just reintroduce Corey Graves' hate of the Drifter to it, but that was half the fun of the Drifter to me in NXT when Corey Graves was there, was just him badgering him throughout his entire entrance.
It was kind of hard to be mad at the Drifter when Charlotte's being butchered in the ring.
Right, but butchered, injured damn near, and
I'm glad to see her walking.
The Nia Jax stuff, oh boy. Well, since we're there, we're on Raw. We might as well talk about it. Nia Jax versus Charlotte on Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but you got to be careful pushing this Nia Jax here, because she's going to hurt somebody really
I don't know.
fast.
Seriously. Dropping Charlotte on her head, on your knee, and then dropping her straight to the fucking mat on her head in one fucking consecutive move. It's like, you need to be done. You need to step down. I was kind of on the board of her the other day. She posted out on Instagram of she's a good looking woman.
Yes.
Attractive woman, big girl, fucking, holds her own. The outfit she has is just terrible. Gimmick
I've said it a million times.
Terrible. This fucking in-ring, last night was
Giant
the worst.
Beetle.
It's scary, fucking Charlotte's the best thing they have in the women's division, or one of the best things they have going on, and God, you want to put her in talent? If she's realistic here, she's looking at Tyler Reign, within the year. With how WWE works.
I don't mind Charlotte putting Nia over on the way out on her way to SmackDown, and that's kind of what we saw throughout the night on Raw, was people that are going to SmackDown getting beat by Raw members.
That's not even what got me. It's just
how
sloppy she was.
It was bad. It
fucking,
was bad.
Charlotte's moonsault off the fucking turnbuckle.
Oh my God!
Just drops her.
My God! First of all, get in that. One of the biggest things as far as being a wrestler is being in the right spot, and there were so many examples in that match, but that one was just so glaring that she would allow herself to get kicked in the face and then drop Charlotte on her face on the floor. It was just oh my God, that was just awful. So yeah, not only she's going to hurt herself, but she's going to hurt somebody else. So yeah,
it's scary. It really is.
It is. Compare that to someone like Baron Corbin, who we just saw on SmackDown, who we were maybe complaining about a few months ago about him being green and maybe not being ready for the SmackDown spotlight. Yes, he was in there with AJ and Sami Zayn on SmackDown Live, but he held his own in that match.
He could still, exactly. He can hold his own. going to Authors of Pain on NXT, they can hold their own. They're showing signs of improvement. Why is Nia Jax on Raw live fucking TV?
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, well, let's get into everything else from Raw. The New Day versus the Revival. Again, the Revival getting a 100% clean this time move. Last week it was almost like the Revival kind of pulled one out of their ass, hitting the Shatter Machine out of nowhere. This time it was pretty much 100% clean. I like the New Day selling that they were upset at the Kofi Kingston injury, so that was a really nice touch.
Did either of you see the Scott Dawson post? I don't know if he has a daughter or niece or something, but it just had R.I.P. ice cream truck on it, tipped over. Oh.
They came out with that on Raw.
There was that. What was the other T-shirt that they had on the show? One of them had the ice cream cart T-shirt, and I think there was another one too.
There was another. I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was, but I thought that one was funny too. But yeah, the Revival looking good. So yeah, nothing to complain about there. Neville and Austin Aries are trying to convince TJ Perkins that they're on his side. So we're getting a heel turn from TJ Perkins. There was the match between Aries and TJP. TJP won with a roll-up after the Neville distraction at ringside. TJ Perkins hits his detonation kick after the match. So what do you think about the heel turn or potential or whatever it is? What looks like here he comes right now on 205 Live.
I don't care about no heel turn. I'm still pissed off about the T-shirt that we started to talk about at the end of the show.
Okay, this is why I'm pissed off about the T-shirt. It's like the awesome retro Nintendo style shirt. Like John Cena has his old retro one. New Day even has one of them. Well, his is fucking dabbing. All right, not enough cruiserweights have fucking merchandise. TJP has two of them now, and this one is him dabbing. Well, I was geeked out like a motherfucker on Monday when he started showing signs of that heel turn. That's the TJP I want to see. I want to see some aggression out of this motherfucker. Yeah, he was the most entertaining on Monday night, I thought, since the cruiserweight tournament was going on. And now seeing this fucking shirt the next night, it's telling me he's not going towards that heel side. He's going to stay with this, childish dabbing fucking...
I don't know. What he's doing on 205 Live now is pretty hot heelish kind of stuff.
I hope he is.
I like it.
It's a full heel turn. I just think he has the attitude for it. He's a smarmy fucker when he puts that fucking shit-eating grin he just had on his face, let alone he can back it up with the wrestling.
But Neville also promised him, who has the belt in this division, who can give you the opportunity to fight for this belt. So once Neville's like, I'm not giving you that fucking title shot, he's right back to a babyface.
You don't like the dabbing thing, and I'm with you as far as a lot of people doing the dabbing thing.
I just don't like it because he's not 20.
So there's that. I don't mind one guy that does a dab, but when it's like every other guy doing a dab, it's like it's too much. And I hear you on the if you're too old to do it, certainly that is an issue. But I go back to the match that TJP had with Nakamura like a month or so ago, whatever it was, down at NXT, and he showed some attitude in that match, and I just want to see some more of that out of TJP. And I like where this is going, and we'll see. We'll see. Let it play out. It just feels
kind of too, because he really is talented. That was awesome. He's the first cruiserweight champion. It's just he was very thrown under the rug quick, and it's just I just don't like this whole spiel. So. Then
Seth Rollins came out on Raw. He says he won't take the easy way out and go to SmackDown Live without a fight. The Raw general manager and Hall of Famer comes out to the chants of "You suck" and says, "As long as I'm in charge, Rollins, you'll be on Monday Night Raw." Then Samoa Joe comes out and attacks Rollins, but Rollins stands tall. So it looks like we're shifting back towards Rollins versus Samoa Joe, now that Triple H has gone away. Stephanie gone now 2 weeks in a row, hopefully stays away for a long time. I like the idea that now there were no stipulations or whatever going into the match at WrestleMania, but I like, since Seth Rollins won, that part of the authority, Stephanie selling the table injury and Triple H, the loss to Seth Rollins, they have gone away, and it's been about Kurt Angle and what Seth Rollins is going to do now. So now he's going to face off against Triple H's crony, Samoa Joe. He looked good in this promo. I thought he came off well. What do you guys think?
Well, I like that Kurt Angle even pointed out that, Stephanie does not want you here anymore. You need to, she wants you fucking gone, but since I'm in power and I want the best show, you're staying.
Good point.
I liked that aspect of it because, that did still kind of wrap up, touch up everything because it would make sense like, I don't want that motherfucker on my show anymore. Get rid of him. So, it was awesome to see Kurt Angle kind of taking the reins and, putting his foot down like, nope, you're a talent. You're staying on my show. This is my shit. I'm the captain now.
We talked about the members of Raw departing, going to SmackDown, losing throughout the show. The main event, Kevin Owens versus Ambrose, champion versus champion. Kevin Owens cuts a promo earlier in the show saying he's the number one champion on Raw and that Ambrose is goofy and crazy. And then they have the match, which was a good match.
You said we didn't even talk about the beginning of the show.
Well, we can run. I'm just kind of all over the place here. But we'll get back to Miz and Maurice and all that. But Kevin Owens, Ambrose, we'll get it all in there. Don't worry about it, Taco.
I just think it's Ambrose being goofy.
Well, there is that. So yeah. Well, yeah. The beginning of the show, it was Miz and Maurice coming out doing their continuation of making fun of John Cena and Nikki, which is still very entertaining, but they're going to have to figure out what to do very soon. And then Ambrose coming out and congratulating John Cena was very entertaining. He does hit the dirty deeds on Miz, so it looks like after all is said and done, it's going to be Ambrose versus Miz some more. So
some more what?
Exactly.
That was the thing that kept popping up into my mind. You're bringing in all these people from SmackDown, and you're not going to have fresh matchups. It's going to be the same matchups from SmackDown, which is odd because the idea of switching everything around is that you're going to have fresher matchups. But I digress. We were talking Kevin Owens and Ambrose in the main event. Kevin Owens putting over Ambrose clean with the dirty deeds. It was a good match.
It's fun.
Not that much heat early on in the match because it was like, okay, well, Ambrose is new to the roster. There's nothing really going on between these two. We still kind of like Kevin Owens even though he's a heel. So, but then after the match, Jericho comes out, hits the code breaker on Kevin Owens, and stands tall. So we have this interesting dynamic that Payback is coming up in 3 weeks, where Jericho will be facing Kevin Owens for the United States Championship, but now Kevin Owens is part of SmackDown. Well, technically, the U.S. Champion has been drafted to SmackDown because whoever wins that match will end up on SmackDown with the United States Championship. So on SmackDown today, we had that three-way match, the number one contenders match between AJ, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn that we briefly touched upon, and we'll get into more SmackDown here in a little bit. But the winner of that, AJ Styles, does that affect, because it's very interesting right now, and we're kind of getting into SmackDown. They
kind of mingle together this week.
Exactly. That's just how it's going to be. With the fallout of WrestleMania and the shakeup, it all blends together. So, it's interesting, the dynamic. So last week, AJ coming out and shaking hands with Shane, the mutual respect between them that was earned with the match at WrestleMania. Some people were critical of it because, why would Shane shake AJ's hand 3 weeks after getting his head thrown through a car window? Well, it was the match at WrestleMania. And
settled everything.
It's the same reason why two guys go into the middle of an MMA fight or a boxing fight, beat the shit out of each other, and then hug each other afterwards.
Right.
It happens all the time.
So a lot of people thought that was a moment to make Shane look good. That Shane that AJ or Shane earned AJ's respect. But to me, it was a little bit of a babyface moment, a good guy moment, if you will, for AJ Styles. Fast forward to this week on SmackDown, that opening segment where it was Kevin Owens coming out and everybody else, and then AJ comes out last. Sami Zayn was out there, basically all those guys that got drafted or whatever shook up to SmackDown. AJ had a really interesting line in there too, where he was like, "Look, this is SmackDown Live," and he said, "No offense, Sammy, but it's about me." Like, if you're the heel attitude having AJ, why do you even give a shit to say no offense, Sammy? So to me, there's something going on here with this AJ thing, which brings me back all the way back to the Kevin Owens Jericho thing. So if AJ is moving towards a babyface, do they put Kevin Owens over, keep him with the belt, especially with what we've been talking about happening for over a year now? Any day, Jericho's bound to go on tour with Fozzy, so which is actually scheduled for next month. I believe it's May. I believe he's going to be going.
Actual dates.
Yes, there are dates. He is going on tour. No Mondays, however, but who knows? But yeah, so do you have Kevin Owens stay on SmackDown as a heel, going against possibly babyface AJ Styles, or do you keep Styles a heel and have him be against Jericho in a repeat from the previous year's WrestleMania? So again, that's something we've already seen. So as I'm talking through it here, it's sounding and feeling more and more like Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, it's we've seen the AJ Y2J feud, and it's one and done. Let's not go back there, especially at this point where AJ
the roles
is so
are reversed
fucking hot now. But he's just such a hot product right now, and Jericho, he's a hot product right now, but they're their own separate things. The storyline, fresh, clean Kevin Owens on SmackDown too. He has a new image about himself. He wants to be the face of America. So it's just like he's already getting that heat. So it's just like that's the perfect feud going in there, and fucking we're gonna get some matches out of them. It's just like,
well, in the same way with Kevin Owens. Like Kevin Owens, everybody wants him to technically turn face because everybody already loves Kevin Owens. But the WWE keeps him as the heel because he works so well, no matter how much people love him.
After the friendship festival thing, though, he was getting hard boos.
He's got good heat, and versus AJ Styles, he'll have the heat in that as well.
Well, and I just don't think you can keep AJ Styles as a heel. People just know he's the best right now. He's on top of the fucking world right now, and that's where he belongs.
And that's why I like the slow transition, just doing the little thing with Shane, the thing with Sammy, just the very subtle, just like, no offense, Sammy, that's all he said, but that was like, that's different. That's not beat up John Cena, AJ Styles.
I got a sidebar real quick. I actually learned yesterday that TNA actually owned the rights to the name AJ Styles, and then they gave it to him because he went to go to wrestle in New Japan.
Right.
Yeah, fucked up. They fucked up so bad.
Well, part of that too was when AJ was still signed with TNA. This is a really weird sidebar, by the way, but fuck it, who cares?
Let's go there.
They did an angle. This is back when they were still on Spike, and obviously
Kurt Angle.
Obviously, they still had AJ Styles.
Angle. But
they tried to do like the CM Punk thing, where you win the belt and then leave the company or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so he won the TNA belt, then went to New Japan. So that's probably why maybe they did that or something, so that he could work in New Japan under the same name. Then obviously what happened went down in history where AJ left TNA and actually went to New Japan, won the IWGP, and on and on and on.
It just feels like some archaeological shit, like dusting off the thing. It's like, what's that TM right there? Oh, TNA. Oh, you fucked up. Yeah, God, this might be a new thing. It's like TNA fuck up of the week.
I'll work on getting the sounder for that. That's a good one.
Taco.
Neville versus. We talked about that. Kurt Hawkins got KO'd by the Big Show.
Yeah, that mattered.
That happened.
Hold on. Let's kind of go back in the Wayback Machine a little bit when Big Show was kind of like on his Shaq Fat diet, just kind of moping out like, "Hey guys, I'm the Big Show. I got some advice for you." What kind of chance was he getting at that time? Please retire.
Yeah.
What was he getting last night? Thank you, Big Show.
That's a very good point. Very good point. Kurt Hawkins is another kind of yawner going to Raw, so you could kind of the Kurt Hawkins Jinder Mahal trade was kind of a wash there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though. Big Show getting into great shape and not being on TV
though,
squashing all the people that we don't want to see him squash lately is nice.
Because that's it's one thing to have like. Just rounding up, 15,000 people in an arena chanting "fuck you, Roman." That's one thing. But having a whole arena chant "please retire" is a whole fucking different thing. That's the worst.
Speaking of blue chip players and Jinder Mahal, We had the Finn versus Jinder Mahal, Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal match from Monday Night Raw.
Jinder fucked up.
Jinder was working a little stiff, and that's fine. I'd rather you work stiff than too loose. Jinder is not one of these guys that's unsafe. He's not your Nia Jax or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's been in there working hard, hitting hard, and looking good for a guy that's just basically a job guy.
I thought he looked good on SmackDown.
And yeah, but he hits Finn a little hard in the face. Finn takes a header to the mat. And
His body dropped hard.
It's funny because he got the scuffs on his face from hitting the mat, and so he didn't look the same after that. After getting hit and then hitting the mat. You guys said it looked like he had a concussion, or was that reported anywhere?
It was reported.
I didn't see it anywhere.
Rewatching the video, he hit him pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
it was
he
dropped like a bag of sand.
Well, and like I said, he did. Going into the finish of the match, it was like he looked like he was on a little bit of wobbly legs there. So I was like, "Ooh, is he going to hit this coup de grace?" Like so, but he did, and he looked good. Finn getting the win there, so fine stuff there. We didn't really talk about The Miz versus Sami Zayn. Zayn going away from Monday Night Raw, but getting the win here in this case. Zayn really needed a win here. He got it with a roll-up counter to the skull-crushing finale after Maurice shenanigans in the match. So, but nothing much else there. It was a fine match.
Yeah.
I'm honestly truly bummed out he's on SmackDown. We need to get him and KO separated.
Yeah, that was kind of
disappointment, but with him fucking winning on Raw, there's another side we saw to him, which I've been wanting to see. Some of that, with the TJP, that aggression.
I'm just saying, they're putting on a fucking
I'm going
right
back to
now.
this match later and rewatch.
Jack Gallagher and TJ Perkins. If you got
205
the time.
Live, yeah.
But
I feel like we say it every week too, because they put on really good matches on 205.
But that's the sign of Sami Zayn we've been needing to see for a long while. Not this fucking, whiny, I've been in this business, working so hard. Yeah, we know. That's why you're in the WWE.
Well, how good did he look in that main event for SmackDown tonight?
He looked great.
That was awesome.
I wish he would be that talented on Raw, though. Like, I just feel like he's going to... He needs to get away from KO.
Well, there still is the possibility, that it could be that Kevin Owens loses the U.S. title and ends up back on Raw. Small possibility, but you never know. But yeah, I did kind of groan when one of the first guys out when Kevin Owens is making his speech was fucking Sami Zayn again. It's like, weren't you guys done with this a year ago or whatever? But
it's a great feud. It's been on forever, but it's a safe feud. It's like a John Cena, Randy Orton feud at this point to me.
Yeah, and I think they could do more with it, but they need to, like you said, keep them separated for like a year.
It's not special anymore.
Yeah, keep them away from each other for a good long while. All right, we got to talk about the Reigns interview with Michael Cole turning into Braun endlessly beating up fucking Roman Reigns.
I'm not finished with you!
I say the same thing to my beers.
Exactly.
That's my bathroom break.
But yeah, how fun was that? You know what's funny is that their mentality is oh my, Roman will get so much sympathy. Braun is just relentless. He keeps beating him up. He keeps going. He won't stop. He's relentless. All the fans will just get behind Roman. No, we just found it immensely entertaining, and it was just so.
See, I didn't get that vibe. Like, no, I've like the fan vibe. Yeah, like I feel like Vince knew what he was doing 100%. Like it's a way to get him off TV a little bit, so the people get the fucking WrestleMania shit out of their mind. This is the best way to do it, because otherwise that's why they had to do a backstage interview. If he would have came out to the middle of the ring, guess what? He wouldn't have been able to fucking.
But they left the crowd in there. You could hear the crowd fucking go. Giving him shit, and then when Braun starts beating him up, thank you, Strowman. It was just, it was great.
Oh, that was the only "you deserve this" chant I could ever get behind.
right. There's that. So I love the EMTs take forever to get there. They're putting him on the gurney after the long beat down on the carts and on the boxes and everything else. And then Braun comes back, and
What a week it's been.
Whoops.
So much to talk about.
So much.
Shout out to 3 Pac there.
I'm not finished with you!
comes back. There's the awkward camera cut, and so then Braun shoves the gurney off the loading dock, and the referee jumps down there. The referee, he was there instantly. Apparently, the EMTs had to go around the building and around the block to get down into the loading dock area. And at some point, between Braun shoving the gurney off of the loading dock, the gurney took a completely different position, and Roman was laying in the opposite direction or something. So the goofiness of the cutting away and stuff was all there.
That is something I realized that I never thought I needed to see, and once I saw it, it was like a feeling of completion when Roman got pushed. It didn't yet necessarily need to be Roman that was on the stretcher. Just seeing someone get pushed off of something, strapped to a stretcher, allegedly, was phenomenal. Like, it was just so out of the blue. Like, this motherfucker just did this. It just kept going on.
So then they finally get him into ambulance number 1. Braun comes back. And I was not expecting what happened next for him to
the greatest moment in WWE history, possibly.
For him to close the door.
First off, before closing the door, the straight punches to the face as he's strapped in there.
Right, and he's not.
And he cannot
defend himself as he's strapped to the gurney. And then I love that you can hear the hydraulic machinery in the background as Braun is lifting the ambulance. The whole time I'm like trying to look, where's the cable attached? How do they got this thing rigged up? And credit to them, I couldn't see anything.
Very good.
Did a good job with that as far as.
And it wasn't just like I was talking to Talk about this. It wasn't just one of those van ambulances, like small, simple ambulance. This was a giant ambulance.
Well, that was the second ambulance. The smaller ambulance, which I kept waiting for more. I was like, they're gonna start driving away, and they're gonna cut to Braun driving, or they're gonna start driving away, and Braun is gonna like crash into them in a white Bronco or something. I was like, there's got to be more. Just give me one more. But no, that was it.
Clint Dix is behind the wheel.
So that was great. What do you think where are they going with this? Is this just going to be they're going to have a match? Roman's going to win.
Last man standing.
But I mean, okay, so the idea is, so after WrestleMania, Heyman came out basically and challenged Roman Reigns. Lesnar's the new Universal Champion, but now we've got this thing between Braun and Roman. Does Braun somehow get a slip on the banana peel win here, or because of this beatdown get himself into the championship picture? Because we had the face-off between Braun and Lesnar at one point too. So some really interesting dynamics here. I could see a 3-way happening at some point. Roman maybe pinning Braun and getting the belt that way instead of somebody pinning Lesnar. So Lesnar has that out, saying I was never pinned for the championship.
The
something
word
like that.
I've been reading is that they're supposed to be Roman.
Read?
Yeah, better than you do.
Fact.
Ooh, vintage. But the word is that they're going to be facing each other at Payback, Roman and Braun.
Right. I was kind of going I was fantasy booking a little bit.
WWE did release like an injury report though of like broken ribs, torn this, dislocated shoulder. Oh, wait, a dislocated shoulder. Maybe you should be out for a couple months like Finn Balor was.
That was a torn labrum.
Don't John Cena us with this.
Torn labrum. A little bit different. But yeah, I know what you're saying there. But no, I'm thinking it will be Roman and Braun at this this time. Payback, but some sort of controversial finish of the match leads to somehow Lesnar getting involved, and 3-way. That's kind of my guess is where they're going, and then they get the title off of Lesnar and onto Roman via something like that. Either that, or they keep the title on Lesnar and do something completely different.
It's got to be Lesnar beating Goldberg kind of moment, taking that title off of Lesnar.
Well, I think they think they want something like that at WrestleMania next year between, unfortunately, Lesnar and Reigns. But
not going to happen.
We'll see.
Not gonna work here anymore.
Cesaro and Sheamus Cesaro and Sheamus and the Hardys took on the Shining Stars and Anderson and Gallows. It was weird seeing the Shining Stars out of nowhere, and then they showed up on SmackDown of all things. At least,
you mean business casual?
Yes, I like the new, the possible change of gimmick for the Shining Stars. To talk about the possibilities there, Joe.
Oh, you got dress pants. You've got, what the hell was the other guy wearing? Just jeans. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
wearing the classic jeans, going business casual. I want that as a tag team.
See, I was calling the Shining Stars club team up on Raw Diet Club Soda.
There you go. The Hardys end up getting the win over one of the Shining Stars at the Twist of Fate and the Swanton combo. The Drifter is out wandering around during this. We kind of talked about the Drifter already, but that was where he made his first
Vagabundo?
appearance. Yes, El Vagabundo. Dana Brooke. She's up on her reading, Taco, as well as you are. She's been reading How to Be Your Own Protege. This was another one of these obnoxious backstage skits. I've got a bit of a backstage skit rant in me for Ring of Honor, so tune into Strong Honor for that one. So she's reading How to Be Your Own Protege. Emma says, "Come on, let's go." And Dana Brooke says, I don't need you. I'm reading books now, and I'm getting better. I'm not the best, but I don't need you. So apparently, Dana Brooke's staying babyface.
I know. I kind of dig because she's known for Arnold's classic. I do muscle. So her playing the meathead. Hey, I'm smart too. I read books. You guys, I think it could play. It could work. Okay, I'll give it a chance.
And they could set up something
Be
with
optimistic.
Emma and Dana, keep them both busy.
Well, they're
to get
already
Emma back into the
tweeting
Raw.
each other.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
And then Sasha wants to ask Bayley for a title shot, but then Alexa Bliss comes out, and Mickie James comes out, and then Nia attacks everybody and stands tall after beating Charlotte earlier in the evening. So what do you think of, I really liked fucking Alexa Bliss coming out and talking. She's like, I don't know what this weird friendship thing is going on here. And so I liked her kind of calling them out on the weird friendship thing. Mickie James was okay. I like that she's kind of in that right role now that we've wanted to see her in as a baby face. So
Right.
I like that. So yeah,
I think they'll both be utilized way better on Raw.
I hope so.
I liked Bliss on SmackDown. I feel like not to say homegrown talent. She's an NXT girl, but she was kind of part of the whole SmackDown Live experience, I thought. But it is a good shake up. That's the whole point of it. So I dig it. I like I'm a fan of her, so I'm really excited to see what she does on Raw.
Well, speaking of the shakeup and the SmackDown women's roster, let's get into more specifically SmackDown.
Change the subject. SmackDown Live. Players, I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Oh, please.
I said, don't fucking touch me, Joe.
So let's talk about that women's segment. Shane coming out, addressing the state of the women's division. Again, it's Shane doing a talking segment, which was a bit groan-worthy. But
I hate that he thanks the crowd every fucking time. I'm over it now.
He's such a he's not that great on the mic, but he was such a white meat baby face though when he comes out. People love him. He's kissing babies and shaking hands, and he's just doing his thing. So it ended up being
shaking babies and kissing hands.
Yeah. So he brings out the entire Raw SmackDown women's division, which
All
was
four of them.
4 women. So it's like so that's what we're left
Well,
with.
I like that he made it. I'm gonna have to address the women's division, you guys. So it was kind of painful a little bit seeing them out there.
So he brings them out. They kind of go back and forth a little bit. I liked, what was it? Naomi getting into, why can't I think
Carmella.
of Carmella, yeah, Carmella's
That
face.
one broad. I did like that No Chin Ellsworth added, because, he's the princess from Staten Island. I like that he added princess from Staten Island, New York at the end because they were in Boston to get that little extra heat out of them.
So that was good, and then he brings out he trolls the crowd with the father Hall of Famer, second generation, da-da-da-da-da. Brings out Tamina, which we talked about a little bit already, and then finally Charlotte. So we go from 4 to 6, but we got some interesting matchups here. We got Becky Lynch and her awesome new makeup.
That was weird.
It was, because we're not used to seeing that much on her. And
it's like the weird goth girl in high school, like, comes in on Monday, like, with, like peppy spring makeup. You're like, whoa, what the fuck? Becky, what'd you do?
So we got some interesting matchups there between Charlotte and Becky, Charlotte and Natalya possibly, Charlotte and current champion Naomi. So fun stuff.
I'm actually excited for Naomi. I'm just interested to see where she goes with it. Hope she gets a run.
How do you guys, we talked a little bit about Tamina. How do you feel about Tamina coming back as an in-ring performer?
I'm excited, hopefully, just to see some improvement. I mean, she wasn't the greatest talent in the original, but, I mean, she's been gone a long while.
Definitely wasn't dropping people on their heads.
That's the thing, too. She wasn't horrible, though, either.
She could handle herself.
She was definitely making big improvements. So with this time off, it'd be interesting to see maybe some different ways she's developed her character. Maybe they'll let her have a little more freedom as far as something like that goes on SmackDown. Who knows? There hasn't been a ton of evidence of that so far, right, but we'll see. Then was oh boy, Orton versus versus Rowan. Yeah, this was. If you're new to the show, typically if we're gonna fast forward through the match, my remote control makes a sound, and so, it must be because I fast forwarded through so many Titus O'Neil segments. It just picked up on that idea. But that's kind of what we had here. Eric Rowan versus Randy Orton. What do you do with Eric Rowan now that the Wyatt family is gone? Although here's this dynamic too, that so with the U.S. title, the idea is if Jericho wins the U.S. title, he gets to go to SmackDown, be the U.S. champion on SmackDown. So if Bray Wyatt wins the WWE Championship, does he stay on SmackDown then?
Right.
And does Randy then maybe go to Raw, or do they both stay on SmackDown? So an interesting because that match is going to be wrestled at Payback on the Raw exclusive pay-per-view.
Bray and Balor though.
Right. So are they already spoiling the main event? But
all Bray really said though is just, "I'm watching you."
Right. But also completely spoiling the SmackDown Championship match.
Right.
Because why even set up a feud if you're not going to do a feud?
After the crap we've gone through with this feud, I just don't care about this match at all, especially for the fact that it was put onto a Monday Night Raw match. It just made me immediately go, so Bray's going to lose.
Yep.
Well, any intrigue with whatever the House of Horrors might be?
I told you guys, when they were in Orlando for WrestleMania weekend, they broke into the Impact Zone, and then they filmed the match in there. It was an empty lot, so it was nothing new for Impact. But this like
6-sided ring and everything.
It was just those two going at it in the middle of the ring. Vince McMahon's in the crowd naked, just like, "This is what will happen to you if you turn your back against me."
X Division bars are hanging above the top.
Over under on bugs or.
He has Dixie in a chain like Princess Leia style. There's your House of Horrors match.
Vince laughing on that one.
That's good. That is too good. Where's Vince Russo come into this? He comes in. He's got the WWE Championship on a pole,
right? With strippers around the poles,
right? Because it's a House of Horrors match, right?
Yep, House of Horrors. I told you guys it's the House of Horrors match.
Yeah. American Alpha took on the Usos in a tag team title match. How about those promos and the anticipation building up to this huge tag team match?
Fantastic work. Just fantastic. I couldn't have asked for more.
Zero. Nothing.
I liked when yeah, I got nothing.
Well, that's because
it was a good match too. I enjoyed it.
It was a good match. I enjoyed it. Boy, the Alpha's losing cleanly though. That doesn't feel good.
I wasn't mad at that. I was mad at the crowd's reaction when they came out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, I mean, when Alpha's debuted on SmackDown, that crowd was like, ah!
Well, SmackDown hasn't done anything to get the Alphas over. The only thing that got the Alphas over was this match. When they're in the ring, that's how they get over. They get over with their wrestling, and that's been working. But they haven't done anything off the mic. Fucking Jinder is on Talking Smack. I got to see this.
Right?
I am going to miss Miz on Talking Smack.
Yeah. That's.
Which, by the way, I guess
missed.
Fox had an article talking to Miz about that Talking Smack, saying, "You wearing an NWA shirt, girl?" But
yeah, she is.
Miz was talking about his blowout on Daniel Bryan, like on the earlier Talking Smack, and that was all from the gut, just him improv. Like he seriously was fucking pissed at him. The Intercontinental Champ was not on Talking Smack or SmackDown, so he was just like, "I'm going on there." Like, what are you gonna say? He's like, "I'm just gonna belittle Daniel Bryan for a little bit." They're like, "Okay," and fucking we just like him walking off set was like real.
Yeah, the best
Awesome.
stuff is
Best
off
stuff.
the cuff, fucking improvised. When the scripted shit just is no good. That being said, it would have been nice to get something from American Alpha and or the Usos going into this. This could have been a main event of SmackDown.
Oh fuck,
You know, I mean, good. Just build this up. This is the Usos and American Alpha at the time of when they originally did the brand split. When they brought up American Alpha, this should have been something built up to, and I feel like they've just been throwing it out there. And the Usos getting a clean win just doesn't, for me, do any favors for American Alpha, and just kind of makes them look like just kind of average losers. They're not quite vaudevillains level yet because they still have that
vaudevillain.
they still have that in-ring credibility. We'll get to Aiden, but I need to see more from the tag teams on SmackDown. I really had they did really well early on with Rhino and Slater and all that, and Rhino and Slater on Raw now as your tag team jobbers to the Anderson and Gallows now, I suppose.
Hey, he's got a job.
Yeah, I guess so. Speaking of Jinder, we had the match with Mojo Rawley with the Gronkowski in the front row. They were in Boston, Gronk being part of the New England Patriots. So at least Gronk had his own 2 security guards there this time, so that once shenanigans took place, there wasn't a rogue security guard that wasn't privy to things that were going on. Mojo does get the win here. Jinder didn't knock anybody out this time, and Mojo does a stage dive into his buddies at ringside.
That wasn't no fucking stage dive. That was a leap over the fucking barricade.
That
shit was impressive. That shit was taller than Hornswoggle.
The Mojo leap, like the Lambo leap that they were talking about. Let's talk about Mojo here because okay, we all kind of make fun of Mojo because he's obnoxious. He does the hype thing, whatever. But here's a mid-card guy with an obnoxious gimmick, but he can go out there and have kind of fun matches here. What do you think where are you guys on Mojo? Are you just completely down on him, or how are you feeling about him?
I was actually geeked he won the Andre the Giant thing. No one even had him pegged winning it, so it's exciting to see that WWE is putting some faith in some new talent. The dude has shown progress since his NXT days. Since the draft, he's shown progress.
He does get a little bit better every time. It feels
it was kind of worrisome when Zack Ryder got injured because it's like, oh, what the fuck are they gonna do with this big lug now? But the homeboy took it with some stride, kind of developed his own. It's the same character we've seen, but he's kind of honing his craft with it a little bit. So it's good to see that he's doing something. Instead of being like a fucking, I hate to be a downer, but instead of being a fucking Nia Jax,
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't look nearly as green in the fucking ring.
Well, there are times.
But I will say this, for me, the thing I like about Mojo, I wasn't even on the hype roast train originally. I love his promos. They're it's almost not comparing him like exactly to Ultimate Warrior, but he has that unpredictability in his promos that he'll just say whatever the fuck is on his mind. I was out partying last night, doing this shit. I like that. Again, real life stuff. You can tell he's a fucking partier.
Right.
So just throwing that real attitude into him, it brings the wrestler closer to you.
And I see what the promo doesn't directly
don't fucking
compare.
Touch me, Joe.
the promo doesn't directly compare to Ultimate Warrior, but definitely that energy. And he does. There is a certain realism to his promos too, where he's just like, even like when the promo about when he won the Andre the Battle Royal
last week, all dressed up.
Yeah, when he was just like, oh man, it was so cool, and
staring off into space.
So yeah, I like that aspect of Mojo.
And it's just we all love talented in-ring work. We really do. But let's be real, it's not 100% the fucking business. Getting yourself over is the business.
Right. Case in point, Goldberg.
Right, exactly. Look how much money that fucking dude made. But it's just like he's looking like a wrestler, and that's fucking great. He's showing up, smile on his fucking face. That's real heat, real boos, real cheers. He's getting them. It's genuine and fucking good for you, dude.
Let's talk Aiden English. We talked
Let's not.
Yeah, because we try to keep it positive for the most part on this show, but going back to Aiden English and the fucking singing and the shit that didn't work at NXT, going away from the vaudeville. Now, vaudevillains didn't work on SmackDown Live or whatever, but it worked at some level on NXT. But going back to the goddamn singing, I am not a fan. And thank God fucking Ty Dillinger came out. You know what else I'm happy about Ty Dillinger coming out? Last week when he came out, he didn't have the spinning rings and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This week we had the spinning rings entrance again, which was one of my favorite things about the Ty Dillinger entrance. He comes out, does the whole thing. Amazing. I fucking... that little match that he had with Aiden, that was perfect. So I'm probably just getting worked. Yeah, Aiden English and the singing sucks, and it gets heat with me, and Ty Dillinger comes out and does his bit and throws the 10 fingers in his face, and it makes me smile, and I'm happy. And so for that, in that aspect, Aiden English worked.
Right.
So
he's being a jobber. It's what they need.
Yep.
That's tremendous analysis.
Thank you.
Lana is coming soon. We not only did we get Rusev drafted to SmackDown, very interesting.
Whoa! Handsome Rusev.
Yes,
thank you.
Handsome Rusev out nursing an injury.
He's got
right
that
now.
haircut now too.
Yeah,
he's looking sleek as fuck.
Yes, he's got his fleek haircut.
That's episode 23.
I hope it is because I don't remember. But Lana coming back as some sort of in-ring performer for SmackDown.
Like a cabaret
In-ring
dancer
performer.
almost.
I mean, I thought she was just trying to show off for like bachelor parties or something like that with that striptease dance.
I'd hire her, I suppose.
I asked how much.
I thought that was her Maria Kanellis impression.
Well, there's that. I wonder if Maria Kanellis could come back at some point.
I hope so.
Yeah, Lana, I suppose now the new Eva Marie possibly of SmackDown. Although the Corey Graves factor is out of that's what really got that over was Corey Graves is geeking out to Eva Marie, and I don't think we'd get the same. It wouldn't be the same having JBL do it, so it just wouldn't.
I don't know. I'd be into that.
Oh, come on, Mara, look at her go! She's finer than hell. She's married to that handsome Rusev. He's so damn handsome with his fleek suit on. Come on,
sounds like that
Mom.
creepy fucking uncle.
Come over here and sit on JBL's lap.
The creepy uncle that touched your ass when you were 20.
Me and Taco just had some sweet eye contact.
You just confirmed everything.
All right. We talked a little bit about the awesome main event, Zayn versus AJ versus Corbin. Corbin holding his own in there. AJ getting the win. We talked about the possibilities there. Zayn looked good. That fucking AJ getting up for that Blue Thunder bomb for Sami Zayn. That looked so awesome. And Sami Zayn finally getting a leg hooked after the Blue Thunder bomb, getting that near fall in there. I was like, ooh, that was some hot shit. Corbin looked strong in the match. I really enjoyed that three-way match.
The combination of kicks that just kept going
off.
Oh, yeah.
Back and forth. Just awesome. Really awesome spots in that match. Fun stuff. So Corbin's getting over with us just a little bit now, but you got to put him in there with the right guys.
Correct.
Biggest thing for me, well, not only the New Day going to SmackDown, pretty big news. I was disappointed we didn't see them, but you guys made the good point that with Kofi being out with the injury,
I think they're selling the ass whooping too they got on Raw.
That's true too. But I like the idea of let's do some coming soon videos with the New Day. Them fucking walking down that yellow brick road was fucking, that was hot. So let's tease it for a few weeks and bring in New Day a little bit later down the line. I like that. But then Ziggler comes out and does AJ Styles promo saying that SmackDown is all about him and you're all here because of me. And then all these new superstars are shiny new toys now. But in a few weeks, you're going to be bored again because I'm Dolph Ziggler and I'm not that interesting. And then
I'm the Amy Schumer of wrestling.
Tell me more.
So then Nakamura comes out, awesome. They didn't change his music and put any hip hop in there, which I was happy about. They did change like the way the lettering of his name is on the
Yeah, it looks
Titantron.
goofy.
Not a big deal, but to me, I was like, I don't like that. I like the simple black and white or
Right.
black and red that was up there before. Now it's like Hulk Hogan colors or something. It was
Moves
just
back and forth.
yeah. I get
I want to be Nakamura.
I get fancying things up for the main roster, so I'm not going to be too sour on it. But Nakamura comes out, the crowd goes nuts. They're singing his song, chanting his name. Dolph Ziggler says, "Who do you think
They're
you
doing
are?"
the promo for him.
Yeah, it was not unlike Roman Reigns coming out and getting booed like crazy last week on Monday Night Raw. It was an organic crowd reaction, not your Insano world that WWE calls it night after WrestleMania crowd or whatever. Bizarro world, that's what they call it. The Margle, they're going to boo who they normally cheer, and they cheer they normally boo. It wasn't any of that bullshit. It was a normal crowd in Boston, Massachusetts. They're chanting Nakamura's name. They're doing the promo for him, like you said, Taco. They're singing his music.
I hope that was an eye opener for Vince right there.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean,
I wasn't expecting that crowd to be that popping.
Well,
for
right.
him.
That's an eye opener for everything. Like that's, I mean, for him to come out and get that kind of reaction on a regular Tuesday night SmackDown
means he deserves better than Dolph fucking Ziggler.
So they do a little physical thing. They tease us a little bit. We still didn't get a match. We still didn't get a lot of physical activity here.
I was bagging on it last week, and I'm still but it's fucking brilliant because it's just like cock teasing us so fucking bad with him.
I got blue balls
just
over here.
Sal, just like because we're not going to watch until he fights. You know it's going to be on a pay-per-view. We're not going to see shit until then.
Dude,
that's going to make us watch it.
When is the next SmackDown pay-per-view?
Right.
That's got to be like 2 months. Why? We had a Raw pay-per-view, then WrestleMania, then we got another Raw pay-per-view SmackDown. When's the next SmackDown? I never thought I'd say this. When are we going to get the next SmackDown pay-per-view? They can't. They cannot. They can't. I think they got to give it to us next week. I think we got to at least get a squash match.
A little something.
Because, I mean, we've had 2 matches from Ty Dillinger. We had a Jinder Mahal match, for Christ's sake.
Right?
So I really think they got to give us at least something next week. Maybe more. I think you got to get a match.
At least a kick.
I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be a match, or at least they set up to do a match and it ends up in a disqualification schmoz bullshit thing or something.
I feel like he's such a strong item that he doesn't need to have a squash match against a no-name or anything.
I agree with that, but if he just keeps coming out and nothing happening, that's going to get heat eventually. So
I didn't realize how long the next SmackDown pay-per-view is. So, yeah, next pay-per-view is kind of ridiculous.
May 21st.
Oh, my God. That's a long time ago.
Backlash, but it's at fucking Chicago.
Oof, hot.
That's gonna be a good pay-per-view.
I think that same weekend, I don't have the date in front of me, obviously. Maybe look this one up. The next NXT TakeOver is in Chicago in May. So it's probably that same weekend. Very interesting stuff there. But yeah, we definitely can't wait that long.
No.
If SmackDown had a pay-per-view in a couple of weeks or something, then I'd say, yeah, we could definitely wait. But I think it's got to be next week or the week after before he gets either a convincing victory or some bullshit shenanigans that lead to a match the following week.
Ziggler, though, is a good name to kind of introduce him to the WWE crowd a little bit.
Yeah,
because
Ziggler, we'll give him a good match. He's a good heel.
Former champion. He's going to oversell those fucking moves, make them look extra strong.
Yeah. That'll be good. So, all right, let's change the subject. Get into a little bit of NXT before we get out of here.
Loves me some NXT.
Again, we're always late to the party. People download this thing on Wednesday and throughout the weekend, so this tends to be a preview for this week's NXT because it's obviously it's.
Did I fucking watch last week?
Well,
El Vagabundo.
Started off.
Oh, I did.
Started off with Peyton Royce beating Aliyah with a perfect plex.
Love her new hairdo.
Who had the new hairdo?
Peyton Royce.
I don't remember the new hairdo.
She just.
I was watching the wrestling, Taco.
No, I'm sorry, man, but she kind of has a big 5 head going on there, and her haircut was kind of highlighting that to me. So I just noticed. I mentioned it on the podcast, and a week later, she has a new haircut.
Okay.
She's obviously listening to you.
Well, duh, I would listen to me, too.
They showed Andrade Cien almost partying at a nightclub after his loss at TakeOver. So
I thought it was before.
I like they're getting either way.
Okay.
I like the addition to the character that he doesn't give a fuck. It's tranquilo, and I'm gonna go party at the club because I don't give a fuck. So
I do remember during the match they brought up that he was partying the night before. So they're like, he needs to take this serious.
Well, he was probably partying the night before and then lost and said, well, fuck it, I'm going to party even though I lost.
Right.
So either way. Then it was Heavy Machinery versus the Bollywood Boys. The Bollywood Boys appropriately getting booed now because that's such a stupid gimmick. The Heavy Machinery get the win with the double pancake splash. Oni is here to compete, do his job, and to win. And that was just his promo that he did, and it felt good, and it felt real. I liked Oni Lorcan's little promo there because they were building up to the match versus the mystery opponent at the end of the show. There was a farewell video for Nakamura. Rude takes credit for making NXT glorious. Drew McIntyre has signed with NXT and wants to win the championship, and he will be in action this week on NXT. Then finally, the main event. Oni Lorcan versus the mystery opponent, El Vagabundo.
Which is Spanish for the Drifter. Just to let you know.
It's actually not.
I'm pretty sure I Googled it.
You should Google harder.
Lorcan early on in the match calls him out for being the Drifter. The crowd actually gets behind El Vagabundo.
That was the best part of this whole situation. That crowd was totally behind El Vagabundo.
Oni Lorcan gets about 100 hip checks into the corner and then gets the win with the running blockbuster after he unmasks El Vagabundo and reveals that he is indeed the Drifter.
Shocking.
After he gets removed by a security woman. So, and then he ends up on Raw. So fun stuff. We're gonna get some Drew McIntyre coming in this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does in NXT. And
good fit for him, I think.
Yeah, and I like the Heavy Machinery push. So fun stuff.
Well, I think that
from
originally
NXT.
with Drew McIntyre, he was just brought in with so much hype. You know, the hand-picked golden child of Vince McMahon. It just flopped hard. Giving him the second chance after he's done all these indie dates, it's gonna be fun to see him.
And
in the ring again.
he was so young back then too, and it kind of got to his head. And so, humbling him in three-man band. But then, him going out on the indies, getting over, having good stuff in TNA and all over the indies. He's done very well. So it'll be cool to see.
Homeboy in fucking Heavy Machinery, though, he seriously looks like
Otis Dozovic?
fucking,
Shakaloo.
God, he's so thick, like Stay Puft Marshmallow. Man. Like, he doesn't even have a
Kong
neck.
Bundy.
Like, I thought Kurt Angle didn't have a neck. This motherfucker's like, let me double that.
Yep. That's good.
But fun guys to watch, though.
Definitely. All right. That's going to pretty much do it for this week, for this show. But if you want to hear us talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling's Sakura Genesis show, this week's Ring of Honor show, you got to check out Strong Honor. Now, you're going to find that at thefanspodcast.com, or if you have the Fans podcast feed in your podcast gimmick, just look for Strong Honor there. So we're going to wrap up this show, and we're going to go right into recording that show. Good stuff there. But as far as this show goes, if you want to check out the website here, it's bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. You can check out all the old episodes and whatnot. Go back to episode 25 a year ago where we started up this incarnation of the podcast. Whereas me and Taco Joe joined us a couple of weeks later.
Yeah, this ain't my anniversary.
And Joe's anniversary is in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, nerd.
And actually, that will be the anniversary, the 2-year anniversary of the actual podcast, because when I started the podcast, it was just me not having co-hosts all the time, and it was just it became very negative. I didn't know what I wanted at the time, so I took some time off, figured out what we wanted to do, got Taco on board, we got Joe on board,
and now we're talking about Seth Rollins' dick pics.
Yeah, every week we're talking dick pics here on the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. So we got the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. Follow on Twitter at BPW Podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker with a Y, or send us an email, bestprowrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Taco, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on the Snapchat, Twitter at HGREV Taco, and you can follow Joe at
BWCHKABRWNCOW. Or, since it was Joe's birthday last week, I gifted him a new Twitter handle, at BPWJoe. Think Best Pro Wrestling Joe, at BPWJoe. And if we can, my goal is to get that Twitter account more followers than the BWCHKABRWNCOW account.
Nice.
Killed it.
So, at BPWJoe on Twitter for Joe. That's going to do it for the show this week. Bye!
Peace.
Yes. Absolutely right. Listen up, wrestling fans. I'm not finished with you.